connected to the divine power that you are, alchemizing and creating realities and transforming energies from the beingness that is the eternal divine you, because you're trapped in mind. Let me just reframe it. Let me have a different perspective. When you're trapped in mind, you always have the opportunity of being manipulated or tricked or brainwashed or whatever, taken advantage of course. Every frequency is its own stream of consciousness. So that stream of consciousness that got created, powerlessness, connects to you, it temporarily becomes you. You now function at a consciousness level of powerlessness, and you never even know it. You don't even realize. This is why we feel like our programming, like this is who I am. No, it isn't. It's not the truth of who you are as the way of truth. Now, is it temporarily who you are showing up as, who you've learned how to be in this human form? Yes. Welcome to Masters of Self University podcast, your highest source of sacred truths and universal wisdom. Hello, beautiful souls. I'm Rachel Fiori, mystic, spiritual teacher, psychic healer, and founder of Masters of Self University. Join our journey of soul transformation as we deep dive into this latest episode. Hello, multidimensional mystical beings. Welcome to Masters of Self University podcast. I'm Rachel Fiori, your host for this episode. Let's talk about mindset, shall we? And why mindset strategies never heal shit, because they don't. So for, a couple of decades now, and especially the past decade, as mindset, change your mindset, just exploded into the collective. I just watched it with, God damn it, I have to really become such a high level of the way of patience for all this crap to get out into the collective and for people to realize what doesn't work so that they're willing to put forth the energy and the effort with what actually alchemizes and heals and transforms things. Mindset strategies, isn't it? So I think enough of you out there have realized in the years and even decades for some of you that have been doing everything you possibly can to elevate, to heal, to change the patterns and the programming that you are, trapped in or keep repeating themselves. And you're trying so hard to evolve and to heal your traumas and all the things. I think now people are ready to do what actually works, because it takes effort. Like, you have to put a lot of effort into it. To change energetically at the quantum level, because that's what we do. That's what we teach you. And it is what actually transforms your life. It transforms your being at the core level, at the quantum energetic level. Okay. So let's understand that when it comes to mindset, if all you're learning how to do is, reframe things, you want to reframe. So let's think about this differently. Let's change your perspective. All of that surface level nonsense, it doesn't actually heal your core wounds or your unhealed traumas. When you have an energetic program that is running of, say, powerlessness, for example, and you discover that you run one of the programs that you run that's imprinted in there, locked in there energetically, is a powerlessness program. Okay, so we're going to just stay with this one example for now. You discover that and you realize, oh my God, I'm like just powerlessness energy. Like, I don't want to be powerless. I don't want to feel, I don't want to run my control programs that I run behaviorally. Those are your behavioral programs, control programs, because the reason why those behavioral programs manifest and show themselves and flow through me, I behave as somebody who needs to control you and control everything, is because I actually feel powerless. Now, you feel powerless, you run a powerlessness program, because of some trauma, some incident, some interaction with somebody where you felt completely powerless in their presence, never healed that, didn't alchemize it, didn't rise up out of it, elevate out of it vibrationally, energetically. So when that energy frequency was created and you had the experience of the energetic experience of powerlessness, every frequency is its own stream of consciousness. So that stream of consciousness that got created, powerlessness, connects to you, it temporarily becomes you. You now function at a consciousness level of powerlessness, and you never even know it. You don't even realize. This is why we feel like our programming, like, this is who I am. Well, no, it isn't. It's not the truth of who you are as the way of truth. Now, is it temporarily who you are showing up as, who you've learned how to be in this human form? Yes. Yes, absolutely. So when you realize this is mastering energetics, this is actually being extraordinarily educated in what energetics are, because you're energetics, like your energy. Everything is energy. Everything is frequency, period, end. It just is. And your willingness to learn what this actually means and how it affects you, and how you show up in your life, how you are creating your life, how you are creating your life experiences, your interactions with people. So let's stay with this powerlessness example. If this frequency, this stream of consciousness now is a part of who you are. Now, the false part, the shadow self, this is what makes up your shadow self and becomes your shadow self, okay? It That stream of consciousness now acts as you, behaves as you, is experiencing life through you, the person, okay? So you are now part of your makeup in your human experience is going to be a stream of consciousness that includes powerlessness. So then your emotions, your mental programming, what you think, what your mind tells you, the stories your mind tells you about things is going to be based on powerlessness. All the other programs too, and all the other streams of consciousness, because you've got hundreds and hundreds of them, sometimes thousands all at one time. But I want to stick with this one example for a few minutes so that you get it. Okay. So powerlessness is now a stream of consciousness that flows through you. And that is what is creating your life experiences. That's what's creating your reality. This is now a more elevated understanding of how you create your reality, what's really happening, and how it's really being created. It's showing that you have this stream of consciousness flowing through you. Okay. So if you can understand that, then let's take it a step further. That stream of consciousness, unless unless and until you transform that frequency, that is always what is then pretending to be you, your human self, and it's always what's creating your reality, your relationships, in everything that you do at work, in business, in romantic relationships and friendships, and your interactions with your family members, etc. It will always create the reality of you being powerless. You will feel powerless, which means you'll overcompensate by being over controlling. You'll overcompensate, and these are behavioral programs that will show up and be created because of this powerlessness program. You'll be extra arrogant or entitled because you feel powerless. So people owe me. I'm entitled to this, I'm entitled to that, because you actually feel powerless. Like you can't have things. So you can become over controlling, and you can become really arrogant or even narcissistic because you feel so powerless. And this is just one example. The programs that get the other programs, the additional programs that get created because of the powerlessness frequency I mean, it's just never ending. I mean, you can have dozens upon dozens upon dozens that over time, based on that interaction and that interaction and that life experience and that life experience, do you understand that more programs, more streams of consciousness are getting created within you all of the time? Okay. Traumas, really emotionally painful, scary scenarios where you felt terrible, those get really anchored into who you are. Those are the streams of consciousness that get anchored in there and just feel like they are locked in permanently. They're not, but it can feel that way. Why it's quote unquote so hard to change. It's actually not. Energy is created all the time. It's molded, it's shifted, it's transformed into different streams of consciousness all of the time, constantly. We are just not educated enough and elevated enough to be able to understand in real time what's actually happening, number one. And number two, when something is happening in real time, ooh, how do I, from a place of divine power, as the way of connection, I am connected to my divinity because I am divinity. So if I am the way of connection of the 20 universal ways of oneness, then in real time, I am also the way of presence, which means I have the awareness. I am the detached observer and the receiver, which means I'm receiving messages from all the subtle energies around me. And I am, as a detached observer, I'm just witnessing them. And then I know I have the free will choice. This is the only way you're actually free. I have the free will choice on what to do with the energies that are around me, connecting to me, trying to be me, that other people, I'm in a group or I'm around other people, they're creating these things all the time. They're imprinting and sharing quantum entanglement here. They're streams of consciousness with me that I am either consenting to or not consenting to. Okay. None of this can happen in your mind. I don't care what you think you consent to. Energetically, what are you actually consenting to being created in this world, in this human existence with other people? Some of the most horrific things that you can imagine that you would never want to exist on this planet, you're actually consenting to, because energetically you are. When you learn energetics, truly learn energetics and how this all works, you then begin to, holy crap, let me disconnect and detangle and alchemize and transform energies to transform my reality so I can then transform automatically, organically, as a byproduct, transform the realities being created on this planet. I can have an impact there because I now understand how all this works on the energetic levels. Okay. So if you are simply thinking all the time, trapped in mind, weighing the pros and cons and doing the checklist, trying to create from the level of mind. Let me just, I don't like this. I want to manifest that. Let me just reframe it. Let me have a different perspective. That means you're trapped in mind, which means you also can be continued to be manipulated, brainwashed, mind controlled, tricked by other people or groups of people. When you're trapped in mind, you always have the opportunity of being manipulated or tricked or brainwashed or whatever, taken advantage of course, because you're trapped in mind. You're not connected to the divine power that you are, alchemizing and creating realities and transforming energies from the beingness that is the eternal divine you. And that's where you need to learn how to function from. It's exactly the things that we teach you in our courses, our core curriculum at Masters of Self University. And there is a reason for that. That isn't a goddamn sales pitch. I'm saying that for a reason, because you need to understand when you go to people and you do their workshops and you attend their events, it's fine. Go ahead. There's never a judgment. And there's never a ranking of inferiority or superiority. That doesn't even exist when you come from oneness. But the way of truth always exists. And if you're focusing all your time, your energy, your effort, your money on mindset stuff, you will get nowhere. And here's the trickiest part about it. You'll think you're getting somewhere for a while. Ooh, why is that? Because you're coming from mind, and your mind will tell you what you want to hear. Or your mind will tell you, like, energy gets moved, not transformed. You're playing with energy every week with your traditional therapist and talk therapy, you feel better in the moment. It's because you don't understand how energy works. And what happens, hours later, days later, like you're desperate to go back again. Oh my God, because I need somebody to talk to. Oh my God, because you're not actually alchemizing and transforming energy yet, right? A week is a long time to wait to get back to your counselor, your therapist, or your coach. And even in this work, a lot of times at first, in the first several weeks, the first month of the work that we teach in our core curriculum, a week is a long time to wait because all the stuff is coming up and you're learning how to deal with it in a very different way. And it's uncomfortable to have your pain coming to the surface. And yet in traditional counseling and traditional therapy and other, life coaching and all this other stuff, you're stuck in mindset. You are trapped in your mind, and all these other strategies are surface level, but cognitive behavioral therapy, all mindset. Trying to force change at the surface level doesn't actually alchemize and heal any core wounds. You're not learning how to work with the energy frequencies that are literally streams of consciousness that all collectively come together to make up your consciousness. And this also means having a deeper understanding now, more elevated understanding of what it means to be unconscious versus a conscious person. First of all, there's really no such thing as just black and white. You're just unconscious or conscious, except for, let me rephrase that, because that's not 100% as the way of truth. People can be completely 100% unconscious. They have no awareness. They are not awakening in any way, shape, or form. So yeah, total unconsciousness. Okay. That is usually what you refer to as like the sheep and the brainwashed and yes, so that does exist. Okay. However, as people are learning and evolving and awakening, and they're on their own, individual journey to awakening and healing and elevating and all the things. I mean, we are in this period of time on earth where there's a global mass awakening. This is the Great Awakening, as you all know. So during this time where people are really waking up, you're not just, oh, my awakening happened on, January 13th, 2019. There's no fucking such thing. You may have had a moment of expansion. You may have had an epiphany and a moment of expansion in that moment. That's very common. Everybody has those all the time on the journey of awakening. So that's very accurate. But you're not suddenly just, awakened being. Like, oh, I became conscious on this day. No, you fucking didn't. No, you didn't. That doesn't even exist. And the reason why it doesn't exist is because you haven't studied, been educated, and mastered the self, which is mastering energetics. You didn't just wake up, have some epiphany, have realizations. Oh my God, a big shift. It doesn't mean a big shift didn't happen. You're not suddenly highly conscious in that moment. That does not exist. To become conscious means you understand every stream of consciousness, every frequency stream of consciousness that is flowing through you at any given moment. And the majority of them come in the form of your mental programs, emotional programs, behavioral programs, inner child wounds, unhealed traumas, period, end. Understanding if they were imprinted, if you created them in a moment of fear or trauma or life experience, if it was a combination of the two, understanding how these things get created and how it becomes a stream of consciousness that then pretends to be you and continues to create life and life experiences based on those streams of consciousness. Okay, that's awakening. That's actual awakening. So you don't get there in a weekend retreat. You don't get there because you had a big epiphany and a big, transformation moment, which is glorious and wonderful, by the way. Good job. I applaud you. It's beautiful when those moments happen. But you don't get there. You suddenly know all the thousands of streams of consciousness that are flowing through you at any given moment. And take it a level higher, how we recreate and bring in those streams of consciousness. Because here's the other truth. Every stream of consciousness, every frequency is a potentiality. And that is literally infinite. There is an infinite number of potentialities that we can experience, create, that it's all you're the creator. You are the observer. You are the experiencer of your reality. You are the Trinity. Remember that. That's the Trinity. You are the Trinity. And so the creations are infinite, literally. There's no ending to the streams of consciousness, the frequencies that we can experience.
Hello, MSU podcast listeners. This is Danny here with just a quick announcement. We are launching a 20 days, 20 ways challenge right now, where you can actually begin the process of activating and experiencing these divine frequencies, the ways of oneness taught by Rachel, in a free challenge. So if you're interested in starting to integrate and learn this work, please go over to our website, go to the university enrollment page, sign up for our free emails, and within that first week of learning about what university enrollment is, you will receive an email to access the 20 days, 20 ways activation series. It's completely free. So please go and enjoy it, start activating these frequencies, and of course, enjoy the rest of this podcast episode. Thanks.
Okay. Because of that, recreating old patterns, you can recreate, your wounds could be totally healed, and yet the potentialities, you have already experienced them, those streams of consciousness. So those streams of consciousness, they don't cease to exist as potentialities. Do you understand? You can take those potentialities energetically, and this is what most people do all the time. Again, it's just a lack of education. You don't know you're doing it. You can be totally healed of a wound or program, and yet those potentialities, which are frequencies, which are streams of consciousness, they are familiar to you because you've already experienced them in this lifetime. Do you understand? They're familiar, which is why, as far as subtle energies go, as far as frequencies go, you recognize, oh, here they are. Without realizing it, you recognize them, and then you tend to latch onto them, energetically connect to them. This is energetic attachment. So you attach to them again because here they are showing up in your reality, but you don't have the awareness of the hundreds or thousands of other potentialities that exist around you as frequencies at any given moment. You're not aware of them. You're not feeling them because you haven't mastered subtle energy yet. Now, why do you then recognize and feel old programming that you may have completely healed within yourself? And there it is. And then you reattach to it and you start to create old realities, old programs, old patterns all over again. And you're like, wait, why is this coming back around? Because you've recreated it. That's why. And you've recreated it because of your lack of awareness and lack of education in this stuff. So it's not like you're doing it on purpose, but this is the truth. You're recreating it because you haven't mastered the self, which means you haven't mastered energetics. It's a familiar energy, which is why you feel it and you're aware of it being there. Oh, here it is again. Oh, my inner child again. Knock it the fuck off. It is always going to be a potentiality to experience powerlessness, as we use our example that I started with, for example. Like, that is always a potentiality. Now, the reason why that potentiality, you're actually aware in your energetic field without even being aware that it's there, but you feel it. It's familiar. That's why you can somehow, in some way, shape, or form, identify that it's there, even if that's not in your conscious mind. It's familiar. So you grab onto it and you're reliving and recreating, re-observing, re-experiencing a powerlessness situation, scenario, experience. You, the creator in human form, are recognizing and identifying a subtle energy that is familiar to you, even if it's a shitty one. You reconnect to it because you're not yet the way of connection. So you don't understand what this means. You are doing this at the subconscious level subconscious level of mind, most likely, which is unconsciousness, and you don't even know you're doing it. Instead of, oh, that's familiar. I don't prefer that. I don't consent to that. I'm not going to connect to it, reclaim it as a stream of consciousness that is me in human form, and then live out a reality that includes powerlessness. I'm not going to do that anymore. Energetically, you are sensing a subtle energy that you're like, no, I don't consent to that. And what do you do instead? You pick a different stream of consciousness to become an experience. That's what you do instead. And that is an energetic experience and a power that you can gain and a skill that you can gain energetically. You do not do this at the level of mind. Not possible. Get out of mindset. Mind ruins everything. Your mind is a dick. That's the truth. Your mind cannot be trusted. Sometimes your mind is accurate. Sometimes your mind is fucking crazy. Sometimes your mind is just a fucking asshole. Sometimes your mind is extraordinarily self-sabotaging. Why? Because mental programs run through your goddamn mind. That's why. It's inconsistent. You can't trust it. Stop it. With the mindset stuff. Mindset, reframing, rephrasing cannot do what I'm talking about here. Okay? We live in the upside down world. Not anymore. We're on a new earth. We've come from our conditioning, our brainwashing comes from the upside down world, which is patriarchal old earth. What that means is in the upside down world, you're guided to focus on mindset instead of going deeper and just working with mastering subtle energies. All of these subtle energies are frequencies, which are streams of consciousness. Every frequency, every program you run, like powerlessness, it has its own consciousness. I mean, let that sink in. Really take that part in. That can be really hard to comprehend when you're coming from the level of mind. You either know, can't, blows my mind, hurts me, breaks my brain, or you think you understand it. And you cannot understand this stuff truly. Your mind will think it understands. You have to become the master of subtle energies to realize, oh my God, my mind doesn't know jack shit. My mind's a dick, so I'm not going to listen to it. I'm going to go deeper and I'm going to work with energies on a whole nother level. Your willingness to go way deeper instead of writing in your gratitude journal. This is all surface level stuff. Writing your manifestation journal, writing just reframing how you say things. We've come from, we don't live in the upside down world anymore. I have to be careful in what I say here. Because that's not accurate anymore. We've come from the upside down world, which was patriarchy, the world of separation, duality, and all the bullshit, right? So we've learned to go to mind to solve everything. Mind is what creates everything fucked up to begin with, and language is very limiting. It can be really hard to understand the stuff from just what you get in a podcast. I try to give you as much as I possibly can here for free. But the truth is, you want real, genuine, authentic education, enroll in Masters of Self University and become a student. This is a new earth metaphysical university, and it's here for a reason. Okay. So you can always come to learn way more to master this stuff. And I say that to you, first of all, so that you know that there's an option and you have that resource. But most importantly, because it isn't possible for me to teach you step by step everything that you need to learn in the months and years to come, just through what I can offer in a podcast. Although I give you as much as I possibly can for free here. So take it all in. I do it for a reason. But it's never going to be enough to master this stuff. Why? Because you're listening and coming from the level of mind. Okay. And it doesn't mean you can't apply anything yourself from here. It's why I offer it. But we need professionals and we need teachers in this stuff for a reason, because we've come from the upside down world. Okay. So all the strategies of like, use your vision board and blah, blah, blah. If you don't have deeper streams of consciousness, or what programs are, energetic programs, those frequencies that are already locked in, pretending to be you, if what you put on your vision board or what you write in your manifestation journal, your gratitude journal, or whatever, blah, 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 when you use those surface level strategies or just try to put your goal, okay, where do you want to be in a year from now? Like all that crap, it's upside down. You're doing it backwards and you're taught backwards. And the only reason why sometimes it works and is great or works a little bit, sometimes it was like, oh my God, I did this. It was the best thing. Are you kidding me? I made my first, $5 million doing this. I mean, I'm happy for you, genuinely, but you didn't have the energetic streams of consciousness that said you couldn't do that, which is why it worked. It's completely inconsistent. When you learn to work with energies at this level, it completely transforms your entire life. Not only can you heal all your traumas and all the stupid programming that's in there, that's obviously. What you also do is you can create new realities from a clean slate. That's from the way of purity, which means you don't have streams of consciousness coming and sabotaging your shit anymore. Do you understand? So if you only come from the level of mind and you're just trying to rephrase and reframe, you're completely missing it. That's not what you do first by any means. And that does not mean that simultaneously it's not important to rephrase, because the how you say things is a reflection of your programming. Okay, so stay with me here. It doesn't mean that it is not important to reframe or rephrase. But if all you're doing is, number one, changing your perspective, you're trapped in mind. I don't care about your perspective. I don't care about your opinion. It fucking means nothing. It doesn't mean anything. I don't care that you changed your perception, your perspective on something either. Oh, I changed my perception. I changed my perspective. I have a different perspective now. Oh, I'm more expanded because I have a different perspective. No, it just means that you can always be brainwashed and manipulated to have a certain type of perspective that's closed-minded. I don't need you to change your perspective. That's not evolving as a human. Evolving as a human is to have no goddamn perspective, to not come from mind, to come as the vibrational frequencies of oneness, which are enlightened frequencies, become the ways. And when you are there, it's a matter of reading the energies, not having some mind perspective, some mindset perspective. Oh, here's my opinion and here's why. Fuck off. I mean, come on, grow up. Who cares? Because your perspectives come from your brainwashing, your conditioning, your mindset, your beliefs. It comes from the imprints, the programming. All your programs give you perspectives. That's why I tell you, your truth, my truth, crap. Same thing. And I always tell people, go fuck your truth, go fuck your opinions, go fuck your perspective. And when you realize that's an enlightened way to live, to no longer have those, stop coming from beliefs. Come from vibrational frequencies that exist in oneness. That is the truth of what the universe is. Then there are no perspectives on anything. There's only experiences of variances of oneness. There are experiences of various manifestations in physical form of oneness. And that is glorious, and that is heaven on earth. It's like your soul came here to be on vacation, because your soul is a formless energy that is an extension of source, goddess, creator of all that is. You don't get to be human. You don't get to be in this physical vessel. Your soul has a body. You're not a body, a person that has a soul. You understand that by now, hopefully. It's your soul that has a body. And your soul gets to come in a temporary experience and be on vacation, so to speak. Think about this. This is a good analogy. If you go on vacation, why do you go on vacation? Why is it a vacation? Because you don't live there. That's not a permanent residence for you. You want to go visit someplace new to experience it and explore it. And isn't that fun to go somewhere new that you've never been, or to go back to a place that you've been? You love it there. It's really fun to go visit there, and you can't wait to go back. It's a vacation because you don't live there permanently. So what are you doing when you go on vacation? You're going to experience something different and new. And that's it. Like, think about how simple that is. You're going to experience something different and new. And all those experiences that you have on vacation. Okay. And then you go someplace else the next time you go on vacation, or again, you could go back to the same place because you loved it. It was remarkable. While you're here in human form, it's like your soul being on vacation. Now, I know we've been, born into a prison planet, a planet of enslavement, and we're here in this great awakening to transform everything that's going on in this planet. And that is all very true. Okay, it is. This is the time that we're living in right now. And we came here with big missions and to change all of this. And all of that is absolutely true. It is. And I also want you to understand that your soul isn't a person permanently. The eternal you is not the person. It's not this body. It isn't this human experience. This experience is the temporary on vacation that your soul gets to experience. Do you understand that? So even though we have incarnated during a very challenging time, there's a spiritual war going on, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Yes, that's all true. And it is also simultaneously true that your soul is on vacation because your soul's not a person. Your soul's not a manifested physical being. Your soul is formless energy of the creator herself. So this is a vacation. This is coming to temporarily experience things in the physical, in the material world that you don't get to have every day. This is a vacation for your soul. And so if you start to treat it as that and understand that this expansive divine light, creator, goddess of all that is, of everything, is coming here in a material form, in a physical form, to have a vacation, so to speak, it starts to give you a different type of experience energetically. And you understand how powerful you are energetically. And you understand that your stupid mindset shouldn't be what drives and runs and steers the ship while you're here. Get out of the mindset crap. You're relying too much on the person, the human you. Get out of mindset. Allow your soul to steer the ship. Your soul is the one that wanted to come here on vacation and experience certain things. And some of what you experience while you're here, that includes your soul wanting to be here to become a warrior and participate in the spiritual war and help win the spiritual war. Yes, that's part of it. But it's a vacation to do it too, as hard as it is and as painful as it can be, and as cumbersome and frustrating and dense and negative that we can experience all the things. Yes, that's there too. And yet it is still a vacation. You don't get to, hug your spouse once you leave this human form. Oof. You don't get to cuddle with your dog or hold hands with somebody or embrace a loved one, a child, a partner, a spouse, a friend while they're crying. Once you leave this realm and you're no longer in this human form, let that sink in. You don't get to do that once you leave here. You don't have the physical embrace. That ceases to exist. That goes away. Why do you think it's so painful when you lose somebody you love? Although they never actually die. Part of them did. The human part of them, the physical body did. Because that's the temporary part of us. And although they are eternal and they visit and they're around, that's still true. It isn't the same. It's not the same as holding them. It isn't the same experience. when they are back in their original energetic soul form and you're in this physical human body, missing them. Because talking to them, using your physical voice to have a conversation isn't the same anymore. This is vacation. Your soul gets to have this human experience for only so long, and it is a blip. It is a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a second of eternity. The you that never dies, the eternal you that never dies. And you're wasting it when you're trapped in your mindset bullshit. Get out of it. You don't get to have an enlightened, miraculous experience while you're here, which is what your soul wants to have, even during a spiritual war that we're here to win, even during such challenging times on earth. It's still your soul's vacation, and you're wasting it by being trapped in surface level nonsense like mindset strategies to change your reality, to change what's happening on earth, or to try to change your programming or your traumas. They don't transform at the energetic level by using reframing and rephrasing stuff. And it doesn't mean there isn't a place for rephrasing how you speak, because you do speak your reality into existence, like how you say things, what you're saying every day, how negative you are, how you're coming from inferiority and you don't even realize it, how you're criticizing things, how you are blocking abundance constantly. I hear it constantly out of people's mouths. They have no clue. That's what they're doing. They have zero awareness. And then they're like, why haven't I gotten blah, blah, blah yet? Because you're blocking abundance from coming in. And abundance isn't just money. Abundance is everything. It's experiences. You want a different experience. That's a form of abundance. You want a different experience, but you don't have the self-awareness that you're blocking it. Now, your words, your phrases that you use, yes, that is evidence. Wake up to that. You are, yes, there's a part of you, one piece of the puzzle. You're speaking your reality into existence. What you don't understand, the lack of education, is if all you do is change your words, that's it. You're not changing your whole experiences and all of your reality. You're not. You start by getting to the core creation of the streams of consciousness that are flowing through you. Make sense? So if you have a leaky pipe in your house and you're like, oh my God, the pipe's leaking, and you put a bucket under the pipe and it catches the water and it doesn't do any more damage because you're catching the water, you're filling up the bucket. And yet you still have the leaky fucking pipe. That's mindset shit. Well, but I'm catching the water in the bucket, so it's not flooding and it's not creating mold. Okay. So it doesn't mean never put a bucket to catch the leaking water. But are you getting to the cause of the leak? Are you fixing the actual leak? What is creating the leak? Why is there a leak? Find the source of the leak. Fix the core problem. There's no need for a fucking bucket because you no longer have any dripping, leaking water. Do you understand? So mindset stuff, it doesn't mean if, oh my God, the pipe is leaking in the bathroom under the sink, grab a bucket. It doesn't mean there's never a place to grab the bucket. What it means is that's not the solution. It isn't going to transform and heal the core root cause of the leaky pipe. That's still it's still there. Okay. So you might temporarily, if you close the doors and you hide the bucket, you can't see it, and there's no water dripping out on the floor. That doesn't mean there's not a leaking pipe. And eventually you leave that bucket under there long enough. What happens? Well, it's going to fill up and it's going to overflow. Why am I having this problem again? Why is this coming back? I thought I healed this. I did all this mindset stuff. You put a bucket under a leaky pipe and you never fixed the leak. You just caught the water, and eventually the water's going to overflow because you never fixed the core leak, the core problem, the core wound energetically. Do you understand? That's what I'm referring to here. Okay. So that's mindset stuff. Energetic, you need to get to the energetics of everything. And the energetics of everything, when you have an old habit, once you transform that and all you have left is an old habit of, oh my gosh, I always say this in this way. That is terrible. That's scarcity. That's powerlessness. That's inferiority or superiority or whatever. Right? When you realize that, but you've gone in and fixed the leaky pipe, and the only thing that's left over is the residual, is literally a habit of how you phrase things. That's it. That is very easy to transform and change. Do you understand? You have to go fix the leak, the core problem. The mindset stuff, that's just telling you your mind, your phrasing, how you speak, your behaviors, it's all surface level stuff. Those are all results of what is deeper in there. You can't reframe, rephrase, and fix a leaky pipe. That's putting the bucket under there. You're not curing anything. That isn't healing. That's not transformation. Okay. At the quantum level, you have to get in at the quantum level, function in as, and realize the streams of consciousness that are creating the leaky pipe to begin with. Oh, and then I need a bucket and I need a mop and I need all these tools and I need all these resources. This is where all the modalities come in. That's why a lot of you have been doing all the modalities for years and years. Why are you still struggling with the same things? Doesn't mean you make no progress. So stay with my example. I gave you this analogy for a reason. It doesn't mean that mopping the floor doesn't clean up the water on the floor temporarily. Putting the bucket under there catches the water. See, these are modalities that we learn how to use in spirituality. And yet over time, you're like, wait a minute, why is this coming back around? What do you mean coming back around? It never left. It's not coming back around. It never left because you never healed the core stream of consciousness that's creating the leak and the mess on the floor. So your relationships, your problems, your money problems, your scarcity this, your powerlessness that, your whatever it is for you, you didn't go in at the quantum level and transform and work with streams of consciousness and frequencies the way you have the power to do. You're not educated enough in it, so you don't know how to do it. And because you don't know how to do it, you use all these modalities that you learn in the spiritual matrix. And it feels good and it seems like things change and heal and elevate for a while, but then it always comes back and you're like, why is this coming back? Why is it here again? Well, it never left, my friend. It never left. It remained there. You didn't take care of the cause of the leak. Do you understand? So that's why coming from the upside down world is not about learning a bunch of fucking modalities. The sound healing, the breath work, the plant medicine, the this, the that, the 900 things, the certification in this and 19 other things. Upside down world. Mindset stuff. Surface level, upside down world. It isn't going to alchemize and transform the core stream of consciousness that is creating this thing in your reality that you don't want to experience any longer. Okay? That's what you need to understand. So you can do all the mindset stuff you want to. I'm never going to judge you for it. I'm just here to educate you what's really going on. Right? And it is just frustrating to see people in the collective on social media selling you shit, telling you to do this and that, when they're not coming from the way of wisdom, an actually elevated level of education and energetics. They've just learned a bunch of mindset shit like you have or you are. They've learned a bunch of they have certifications out the wazoo. And they're just regurgitating what they learned from other people. There's even people right now that take all my stuff And they're trying to learn from me with all the free stuff I give out, and they're regurgitating, and they're trying to create their own thing with it. And they're sending out weekly emails, and they're doing their, lives, and they're doing their free stuff, and they're trying to mimic what I teach. Like, that lacks integrity and it lacks wisdom. You haven't mastered the energy work yourself. You don't function at the quantum level, and you're trying to gain followers and make money off of other people and act like you know what you're talking about when you're still a student yourself. That right there, you're anchoring yourself into old earth. You're gonna be very disappointed a few years from now when you realize what you've done to yourself, because it lacks integrity. It lacks wisdom. It lacks harmony. It lacks truth, right? You're not a being of oneness. And it all comes from mind. If I just take these bits and pieces from other people and I regurgitate and make my own thing, I can start my own business. People listen to me. I sound like I know what I'm talking about. Well, on a new earth, these are the things that are actually anchoring you to old earth. And none of this will work. Superficial, surface level, mindset regurgitation, knowledge-based versus wisdom-based doesn't cut it on a new earth. And it's like, go ahead, do it. Do whatever you want to do. You have free will choice. You don't even realize what you're creating from the type of programming that you're coming from, though, which is always going to come back and bite you in the ass. It's just how energy works. You don't realize energetically what you're actually creating by doing that. Okay. You also don't realize when you're just focusing on mindset strategies, for example, what you're not actually healing or alchemizing or transforming. You don't realize the things that you actually are creating by doing it, because you have to understand energy at all the different levels that we need to learn about energy. And we are energy and we're multidimensional. So it's not just come do a healing course, and that's it. That's all you have to learn. Look, I'm a healer now. That's not good enough anymore, because it truly lacks education. And again, it never means those things are wrong or bad or a complete waste of time. They're beautiful. Upside down world teaches you to do everything upside down, out of order, backwards. Okay. You have to get to the core of your being, your essence, learn to function at that quantum level. And then you bring in some strategies and some modalities if you want to, because they're fun to play with. Ooh, look at what this one does. You have a completely different relationship with modalities and different beautiful essences. Like sound healing is just my favorite, I think, of anything. And it's magnificent and it absolutely has its place, but you have a very different relationship with things like that when you're not in the upside down world anymore and you come from the core essence, the divine fractal of source goddess incarnated that you are. And then you work with the modality from that place where you're already the way of harmony, all the ways of oneness, right? Very different outcome with when you work with modalities in that sense. Okay. And the same thing with mindset. One of the last things you learn is, okay, now it is a way of truth. You speak your reality into existence. But what does that even mean? Well, you have to learn all the other stuff first. Otherwise, you're just coming from mindset, surface level programming, which doesn't alchemize anything. That's the bottom line. Okay. So when you learn the work and all of these teachings and you're actually gaining and becoming the way of wisdom, you're elevating more and more with the wisdom that's being offered to you, because it isn't just wisdom to go in your mind that you think about intellectually. That's mindset bullshit. It is an energetic transformation that you learn step by step to go through at every level that you can elevate and go through. All of these different levels. You master this level, then there's the next level up. You want to go higher? Okay, let's go. It is an energetic up leveling, not mindset. I don't care what you think you know about anything. It doesn't transform anything energetically. And that's the only thing that actually exists. It's just a consciousness. And everything is a stream of consciousness. All your programs are individual streams of consciousness. You can't change those through mindset stuff. It's too surface level. Okay. So you're ready to go deeper? Check out mastersofselfuniversity.com. Enroll as a student with our New Earth Metaphysical University of Oneness, because these are the things that we teach at the energetic level that you can actually function at that quantum level to transform. In a podcast, all I can do is share about it, right? And I give you as much as I possibly can, but to actually transform and do it and gain the skills, I mean, you have to devote yourself to becoming those things. That is an energetic transformation. That's what true evolution is. It's a becoming at the energetic levels. Okay. And we're here for you if you want to do that. Visit us at mastersofselfuniversity.com. Thank you for listening. Always a delight and a pleasure. I will see you in the next episode. Bye for now.